Hoo boy, let's play a game about vampires instead. Okay, no, let me justify myself. Retro City Rampage, I had some, I suppose you could say, technical issues with it. That means it runs very slowly when I have fraps on. That means I couldn't really efficiently make videos of it. And seeing how the game, don't get me wrong, it's a fun game, I like it, it has really hilarious writing, but seeing how the game didn't really strike me as the kind of game that I could comment on in a particularly entertaining way, I thought it wouldn't be too much of a loss if I started something else instead and maybe keep RCR as kind of an in-between, though again don't count on it, and focus on something else. Now something else in this case would be a game called Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. If you've heard of this game, good, you can skip the next part. If you haven't heard of this game, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodline came out in that very vaguely defined time of like 2006 or something. It's an RPG that I think at the time of its release wasn't particularly popular because it had a lot of problems with like glitches in the game. But it gained a really large cult following after these glitches were straightened out, mostly by fan patches, as being a, well, fantastically written, fantastically voice acted, and I think actually fantastically fun RPG that tries some really original things as a really original setting, and is a game I enjoy a lot. It was made by a studio called Obsidian, though I think back then it called itself Troika, that now is probably mostly known for making Fallout New Vegas, another one of my favorite games. And all in all, it's a game I really enjoy and I'm looking forward to start playing it. So that being said, new game. So the game tells us that a new game starts creating a new character like it is in most RPGs. Now, would I like to answer a series of questions about the type of vampire I would like to play and allow the game to create my character? No, I wouldn't, because that's for newbies. So I'm going to go directly to the character sheet and set my character's clan, attributes and abilities for myself. Now, clan is what in a more conventional RPG would be considered my character's race. Or maybe even my class. Depends on the game, I suppose. Now, this game is based on a pen and paper RPG called Vampire the Masquerade, which I know absolutely nothing about because I never really got to play this kind of game. That means a pen and paper RPG. It's kind of hard on a place like that to find people for something like that. Never mind. So we are going to create our character. We have a variety of different kinds of vampires we can play. Most of them could be compared to classical vampires of, you know, like literature and media. I suppose they could also be compared to ponies, but that would be silly, wouldn't it? So what do we have? Bruja, as far as I remember, that's like the melee class. So not really the kind of character I would play. What I'm going to play as is a Toreador, which are the kind of vampires or not even the kind of vampires, the kind of characters I usually play in RPGs that give me the possibility to do so. They're basically the most diplomatic class, even though we're going to get into that later. So basically the kind of character I usually play in this kind of game, as I already mentioned. And basically, yes. Now, going further into that, our character sheet looks pretty complex, but it's not quite as much as one would think. Okay, so what do we have? Attributes, physical strength, basically how much damage we deal, affects both brawl and melee. Dexterity, well, you can read for yourself. Determines speed and agility, will increase luck, picking and sneak. Okay, so it is pretty complex. But you don't really have to worry about that all that much. Even though the kind of character we are going to play is mostly being based on, like, diplomacy skills, you can't really play this game without investing in combat skills. If you do, you are going to die. Very often. I made that mistake the first time I played this game. So definitely we are going to invest in... not in Brawl, that's going to be completely useless. But definitely in Melee. Definitely in Charisma and Manipulation. Probably also in Perception. And no, this is not very interesting. Knowledge as computer means hacking. Finance means basically getting better prices. Investigation means basically highlights, yeah, items are going to be highlighted. Yeah. No, not right now. And scholarship, which, well, you can read it, increases research and persuasion feats. Definitely going to invest in that one, and probably into, yeah, computer, because why the hell not? Talents, we are also going to invest in dodge. Yeah, that sounds reasonable. Actually twice. You really don't want to neglect combat skills. And maybe in to subterfuge, why not? Disciplines are what in a more conventional RPG would be called spells. Now, our clan has 3 of these, that being Auspex, which is basically increased perception, celerity, which is a speed enhancement, and presence, which is a sort of intimidation. We're going to invest in celerity, and now that we got all the boring stuff behind us, I think our character is okay the way he is.
Good evening. My fellow kindred, my apologies for disrupting any business or interfering with prior engagements you may have had this evening. It's unfortunate that the affair that gathers us together tonight is a troubling one. We are here because the laws that bind our society, the laws that are the fabric of our existence, have been broken. As Prince, I am within my rights to grant or deny the kindred of this city the privilege of siring. Many of you have come to me seeking permission, and I have endorsed some of these requests. However, the accused that sits before you tonight was not refused permission. Indeed, my permission was never sought at all. They were caught shortly after the embrace of this child. It pains me to announce the sentence, as up to tonight I considered the accused a loyal and upstanding member of our organization. But as some of you may know, the penalty for this transgression is death. Know that I am no more adjudicator than I am a servant to the law that governs us all. Let tonight's proceedings serve as a reminder to our community that we must adhere to the code that binds our society, lest we endanger all of our blood. Forgive me. Let the penalty commence. Which leads to the fate of the ill-begotten progeny. Without a sire, most children are doomed to walk the earth never knowing their place, their responsibility, and most importantly, the laws they must obey. Therefore, I have decided that this is bullshit. If Mr. Rodriguez would let me finish, I have decided to let this kindred live. They shall be instructed in the ways of our kind and be granted the same rights. Let no one say I am unsympathetic to the plights and causes of this community. I thank you all for attending these proceedings, and I hope their significance is not lost. Good evening. Your sire, tragic, my apologies. But you see, there is a strict code of conduct that all of us must adhere to if we wish to survive. When anyone breaks these laws, they undermine the well-worn fabric of our centuries-old society. Understand my predicament. Allowing you to live makes me directly responsible for your subsequent behavior. So, what I'm offering is not generosity, but the opportunity to transcend the fate woven by your sire. This is your trial. You will be brought to Santa Monica. There you will meet an agent by the name of Mercurio. He will provide the details of your labor. I've shown you great clemency. Prove it was more than a wasted gesture, fledgling. Don't come back until you do. Good evening.
Whatever you say, Edward. Alright, now that was the opening cutscene. All in all, this game is not too cutscene heavy. Well, we should be absolutely okay with that. But yeah, not only does this cutscene introduce us to some of the characters that are going to be important later on, it also establishes some of the lore of this game, even though, yeah, it's pretty faithful to the lore of the pen and paper RPG it's based on, which I am not familiar with either, so I suppose there's some stuff in there that is going to be explained better later on. Whatever. The controls are as you would expect them to be, and hi there.
What a scene, man. Ooh-wee. Look at this plop out here like a naked baby in the woods. How about that? Look, kiddo. It's probably a lot for you to take in, so, why don't you let me show you the ropes? Wait a sec.
What do I say? Well, what I say is something I want to mention. This game has amazing voice acting, and features some pretty recognizable names in its voice actors. Now, this guy here, Smiling Jack. He's voiced by, I would say, pretty well-known voice actor Joe DiMaggio. You may probably know him as Bender from Futurama, maybe Jake the dog from Adventure Time with Finn and Jake, which I don't think I've ever watched, or as Marcus Phoenix from the game Gears of War. Just want to say. But we don't know the character yet, so hey everybody, who are you?
I'm Jack. What's important is I'm all cleaned up. You make it back from Santa Monica with your hide and we'll trade life stories, okay? Till then, I got about this much time. You in or out?
The question here is, do we want to play through the tutorial? And actually I kinda do. It's not that the tutorial is really all that good, but there is some stuff in there I don't want to miss. And it is part of the game, so let's do that. Okay, I could use some help.
Alright. Why don't we, step out back here?
I like it where I am. I mean, at least I'm out of that theater.
Christ, it's stuffy in there, huh? This is much better. Now,
I suppose.
we ain't got much time, but I figure somebody should fill you in on the bare bones stuff at least. Could save your hide. You look wobbly. You even had a drink yet?
We are a vampire. Asking drink of what is just silly. No.
Oh man, we're popping a cherry here. Oh, you're gonna love this. Check it out. What? It's your new rack of lamb, your new champagne, like your fucking heroin. Get ready though, cause hey, it's never as sweet as the first time.
Joy. What do I do?
Well, down around the corner there, I saw this human, or I hope he can't find his car.
So you mean...
Alright. You go down there casually. You creep up on him. Then bare those little fangs and feed. Don't worry if you weren't captain of the wrestling team or something. Because it'll come so natural. You think you've done it 1,000 times already.
Okay. But wait. I've seen some vampire movies in my time. Won't he become a vampire then?
Forget that comic book crap, kid. It don't work that way. Now go for it. Be sure though, and this is important, so listen up. Be sure not to drain him dry, okay? It might be hard to resist, but don't kill him.
Yeah, figures. Alright. This is my blood pool. You know where the arrow is pointing. Is the fuel for my vampiric powers or disciplines. Basically, it's our mana bar. When my blood pool is low, I need to refill it. Obviously. And you know what? I'm sorry for messing around with the options here, but I want to turn up the volume just ever so slightly. Better. So yeah, we're going to not do that. I have to familiarize myself with the controls once again. We have to get to this guy. Feeding on humans fills my blood pool. Yeah, that's the F key. And we shouldn't get caught while doing it, obviously. So, well, it hasn't been a bad day before you've been sucking off a guy in a back alley. Let's do this. Nom. Our blood meter fills up, his goes down. We don't want to suck him dry because that would be kinda terrible. For him at least, and for us too, because I think we'd lose humanity if we did. I'm at least pretty sure of that. Humanity, it's... We'll get to that later. Hey there, Bender.
Yeah. Hell yeah, you're feeling it. I can see it in your eyes. You're a born-again predator. Feel that blood bubbling inside you, lifting you up. That's it, kid. That's what it's
Sorry,
all
got interrupted.
about right there.
Yeah. Sure, when do I get my cape? Do I get to pick the color?
Alright, now, you got the blood, you're feeling all kick-ass, feeling better than your best day living, but wait, it gets better. All kindred, that's our word for vampire.
Basically.
All kindred have a few things in common. Things that set them right square above humans on the food chain.
Tell me about it, Janet.
Like sharper senses, a body that can take a beating, and if you play your cards right, eternal life. That's no sure bet, but still the chance of immortality is not a bad deal. And that's just for starters. Fringe benefits for joining the club.
So that means I'm going to live forever?
Well, you can still be destroyed, but forget the books and the movies. Garlic, it's worthless. A cross, shove it right up their ass. A steak, only if it catches you in the heart, and then it just paralyzes you. Running water, that's no problem. I bathe. Occasionally. Now, a shotgun blast to the head. Oh, that's trouble, boy. Fire, that's real trouble. Sunlight, well, you catch a sunrise and it's all over, kiddo. Get it?
So basically the usual, mostly. I got it.
Okay, now. What the fuck is this?
Dot. Great dialogue here. So yeah, it continues on with the usual tutorial stuff. Where do we want to go? We want to go, as Jack said, inside. Inside in this case meaning, I suppose, not in there. God, it's been some time since I played this game. Where were we supposed to go? Probably somewhere around. Not here? Hey there, you have anything to say? No, you don't. Well, would have been surprised. Now it works. Is the user can... I know, thank you. So, looks like a car workshop in here. Probably because it is. And this introduces us to champing. First-person champing is, as always, pretty awkward, but never mind that. There won't be too much platforming in this game. Also, hey, this game is based on the same engine as Half-Life 2, and by extension Black Mesa. So jumping puzzles are just as much fun as they were there. Whatever. You're up. So, perception, items get highlighted. That's like the short version. And I can pick up objects, I know, like that lockpick there. We can use it to pick locks. I know, it's... wow. Very out-of-the-box item use, right? Hey there.
Down here. Stay away from the windows. Oh, it's a Sabbat raid. The Sabbat? Where, Christ, I was hoping to spare you this shit till later. The Sabbat, well, they're mostly mindless, bloodthirsty assholes. That's all you need to know for now, alright?
Let me extend that. The Sabbat are basically vampire... I suppose you could call them vampire outlaws. They don't adhere to what's basically these guys' government. We'll get into that later. So, Chuck, what's up?
The Sabbat got wind of the gathering here, so they figured they'd raise a little hell and put a little heat on the new prince.
What is the prince a prince of?
No time for political rundown. Job one, get out of here alive. Sabbat might be mindless, but they hit like a Mack truck, like raging savages. Nothing a fledgling like he wants to mess with.
So what is the prince a prince of? A prince in the context of this game is like the political representative of the vampire's government. Obviously these guys down there don't respect him. What am I supposed to do?
Shh. Heads up. Back away. Dumb, frenzied Sabbat bastards. Alright, we gotta vamoose out the back quick. I'll stay and keep a watch out. You get us into the office. The door's around the corner here.
I'm on it. I know. So, basically we have to get in there. And before you ask, no, what that one guy down there just did, no, we can't do that. And we won't get to do that. It's kinda sad, but hey, what do you wanna do? We can pick locks. There is not really, like in many other games, a mini-game to it. It's just, well, you know, we can pick locks. Not much to it. Hey.
Shortcut. Well, nicely done, though. Not exactly an angel in life, were you?
Well, you know, I know how to handle myself.
Cool. Now, if you want a lesson on how really not to act, take notes from those Sabbat assholes. You're a big bad vampire. Yeah, great, congrats. Now keep it to yourself. You go roar and you beat your chest, and that's what you can expect.
So we want to be more subtle than these guys. But wait, Jack. I've still got that list of people from high school. Does that mean I have to scrap that?
It's the same reason you don't let humans see you feeding. It's why the wolf doesn't want the sheep to know he's there. It's also why you don't go juggling dumpsters or outrun the 815 from Sacramento. And it's why you didn't know any of this when you woke up this morning.
Actually, I knew all of that when I woke up this morning because I've played this game before, but never mind. I get it.
Keep our secret secret and you make things easier on all of us. We're living in the age of cell phone cameras. Fuck-ups ain't tolerated. Makes sense enough, right? Well, it ain't a casual thing for a pleasant review.
So what is the worst that could possibly happen?
That party back there with the guy in the suit and the killer gorilla? The assholes that put your sire to death? That's the Camarilla. They make a tidy business out of enforcing vampire laws like this one.
As I said, they're the government. I see.
Alright, now don't worry, because I know the area a little. You know what? I'm glad we're in this situation, you and I. It illustrates a point. You gotta utilize your surroundings.
I'm not glad to be in that situation because the tutorial is not really all that exciting. So, what does that mean exactly?
You do what you gotta do. Theft, destruction of property, breaking and entering. These will be the least of your sins before the night's out.
So basically the fun
So
stuff.
look around here. You gotta get out the back there through that magnetically sealed door. There must be a key someplace.
And there is. I'll find it. So, where is the key? The key, as far as I remember, is in that safe. How do we open that safe? By using the computer. How do we use that? I know. How do we use that computer? By finding the password. What? Yes. What is the password? The password is Chop Shop. Now, as Jack mentioned, we live in the age of cell phone cameras. And you know what they also have in the age of cell phone cameras? MS-DOS computers. So, safe. Chop Shop, we could also hack that computer, but, well, if we have the password right there, why would we? Password accepted. Unlock safe. Safe doors unlocked, great. Exit computer. Open safe. Not like that. I'm still too used to the controls of Bioshock. We use this, yeah, basically. Open, get keycard, take, hallelujah.
There we go. Now take that key card and head out the back. I'll meet you out in the alley there. I'm gonna check out things from topside.
You do that. And you know what I do? I think I'm going to call it a day for... Oh hey, a band poster. So what I wanted to say, I am going to call it a day for today because otherwise I'm not sure how much time we have because, yeah, you know, most of this video is going to be introductory cutscene, but never mind. I'm going to call it a day for today. I probably won't upload a video in the next 2 days because, you know, I want to... Obviously I want to celebrate Christmas among, you know, my loved ones and all that sappy stuff. And that doesn't necessarily mean the internet. But I hope I'm going to see you again afterwards, as soon as possible. Anything else I want to say? Well, I don't think so. Maybe the usual, like, required for a YouTube Let's Play stuff, like this video, subscribe, write me a comment, write me a message, write me a dirty limerick, and most importantly, have a wonderful Christmas. I'm your German snob. I'm going to be seeing you again, as I said, as soon as possible. And that being said, goodbye.